The town of Ravenshade had always been plagued by disappearances, but something far worse had arrived. 2 legends, 1 final hunt. It started with a group of urban explorers, Brandon, Alexa, and Ryan, who dared each other to enter the Blackwood Asylum, an abandoned, decaying structure at the heart of the Ravenshade forest. The place had been closed for decades, its walls echoing with stories of vanished hikers, missing children, and whispers of a faceless nightmare. As they ventured inside, the air turned frigid, and a foul stench filled the halls. Their flashlights flickered, and then they saw it. A trail of bodies. The walls were smeared with something red, and on the floor, written in fresh blood, were 3 simple words. Go to sleep. Ryan stepped back, shaking. We need to get out of here, now. But before they could turn, the shadows moved. A long, inhuman figure unfolded from the darkness at the end of the hallway. Tall, featureless, silent. Slenderman. The lights died instantly. Screams filled the air. Only 1 flashlight remained. Brandon turned towards Alexa. She was gone. Ryan was standing still, his face blank, eyes unfocused. A black tendril curled around his throat. Then came a whisper, a voice that was not a voice, a sound that slithered into their minds like a living nightmare. Run. Brandon didn't need to be told twice. He bolted out of the asylum, panting, tears streaming down his face. But outside, something else was waiting. A white, grinning face loomed from the tree line. Sunken eyes, a twisted smile, a glinting knife. Jeff, the killer. He watched the boy tremble, a slow grin spreading across his face. Guess you saw him, huh? Jeff whispered, tilting his head. Tough break, kid. Brandon let out a strangled sob and ran into the trees, disappearing. Jeff turned back toward the asylum, licking the edge of his knife. So, you're the one they whisper about, he muttered. A breeze rolled through the woods. The air felt wrong. Jeff's smile widened. Let's see what you've got. Jeff moved like a shadow through the halls of the asylum, knife glinting as he followed the lingering scent of fear. He wasn't afraid of Slenderman. In fact, he was excited. Then the lights blinked out completely. The air grew heavier, pressing against his skin like unseen hands. A long, faceless figure materialized ahead of him, stretching unnaturally in the dim light. Slenderman's tendrils writhed in the air, reaching forward. Jeff lunged, his knife slicing through the darkness. But he hit nothing. Slenderman vanished and reappeared behind him, tendrils slashing forward. One struck Jeff across the ribs, sending him crashing through a rusted door into an old, Hospital ward. Jeff groaned, gripping his side. Not bad. Slenderman glided forward. The walls began to shift, the ceiling stretching upward like a funhouse mirror. The asylum was no longer just a place. It was part of Slenderman's domain now. Jeff's vision blurred. The room morphed, the walls flickering to reality and a twisted nightmare version of his past. Flames, his childhood home burning, his own screams echoing. For the first time in years, Jeff felt fear. A wave of dread crashed into Jeff. He clutched his skull as voices whispered through the walls. His past, his pain, his transformation. You are nothing. You will always be afraid. You are weak. Jeff's breathing hitched. His own screams from years ago filled the room. Then, his lips curled into a grin. A low, twisted chuckle from his throat, growing louder. He tilted his head back and laughed. Slenderman's form flickered, as if uncertain. Jeff snapped his head forward, eyes gleaming. Oh, you think that scares me? He plunged his knife into his own arm, drawing blood. Pain, fear, buddy, I live for this. With sheer insanity, he broke free from the nightmare. Slenderman staggered back for the first time. Let's play for real. The asylum collapsed behind them as the battle spilled into the dark forest. Jeff moved like a demon, knife flashing into the moonlight. Slenderman's tendrils lashed out, slicing through trees, warping the space around them. Jeff dove forward, slashing at Slenderman's torso. For the first time, his blade found flesh. A soundless shriek echoed through the walls. Jeff grinned. Oh yeah, you can bleed. Slenderman retaliated. The air rippled. An invisible force slammed Jeff backward into a tree. His ribs cracked on impact. For a moment, he didn't move. Slenderman closed in for the final blow. Then, Jeff's fingers twitched. He laughed softly. Then, he got back up. You're gonna have to do better than that, Stretch. Slenderman extended a dozen tendrils, twisting the very space around them. Jeff charged straight into them. The two forces clashed in a blur of motion. Tendrils slashing, knives flashing. The forest burned around them, trees collapsing, shadows distorting. Then, just as Jeff was about to land the killing blow, a sudden shockwave of darkness erupted between them. A whisper echoed through the forest. Enough. Jeff and Slenderman froze. A third presence had arrived. Something stronger. Slenderman vanished in an instant, fading into the mist. Jeff remained, panting, his knife still dripping. For the first time in his life, he wasn't sure who had won. He chuckled, shaking his head. Guess we'll finish this later. Then, he disappeared into the night. But something else washed from the shadows, and it was waiting. Part 2, coming soon.